Hey, welcome to the Profit Builder video series. I'm Vicki, your host, and I'm the author of the book, The Profit Bleed, How Managing Margin Can Save Your Contracting Business. And these videos are all about helping you grow a more sustainably successful contracting business. And for over 25 years, I've been helping contractors increase their profits, generate more time in their day, and reclaim and refine the joy in what they do again. And that's what this video series is all about. And my goal is to help give you the thinking to be able to understand how to do that in your business. And then I actually give you tools and resources that help you implement what it is the video is talking about. So I hope you enjoy today's Profit Builder video. Today's episode is about what is the one thing that you can do to stack the odds in your favor of making a consistent profit on the projects that you do. What I find is that people who do this consistently in their business make more profits. So let's jump into it. So when you're bidding, the first thing that you're always doing is making sure that your cost basis is accurate. So a couple of things that relate to your cost estimate are things like labor, materials, equipment, other rentals and that kind of stuff that you'll want to make sure that you've got the right pricing on. And we all know that the one place where you have the most risk in business is in your cost of labor. So one of the things that you always want to make sure is that your basis for your cost for labor is an accurate basis. And when I say that, I mean you've got your gross wages, but then you've got taxes, you've got benefits, you've got workers' comp, liability insurance, you've got, if it's a union shop, you've got union benefits, vacation, holidays, all of those things go into the cost basis of that employee. And so you want to make sure that you've got all of that cost in there as your basis so that at least on the labor side of it, you're starting with an accurate cost. And then the second part of making sure that you have accurate cost is marking up enough to cover your overhead so that you're at least breaking even and you've incorporated that markup percentage into your bidding process. Now, I did a previous video on overhead break-even percentage and knowing how to calculate that, but I've included down below my article that's titled Beyond Break-Even that will help you calculate that for yourself if you haven't done that already. Now, just a little tip. This is a number that people get wrong a lot in their businesses. Like they think it's the number on your profit and loss statement. That is not your overhead percentage. So make sure if you're not positive, go check out that article. It'll really help you out. So once you've got your cost basis, you got your cost for what it's going to cost you to do the work, you've got your cost of how much you have to mark up to cover your overhead expenses. Now you're marking up for profit. And the number one thing that you want to make sure to do for profit is have a goal. Your ability to build a sustainably profitable and successful construction or interior design business requires that you make a profit and that you make a consistent profit. And when I'm talking about profit, I don't mean just the bottom line. What I'm talking about is when you're bidding, setting a gross profit margin goal so that you're making sure that you're making your desired profit on every single job in the bidding stage, because that's the greatest way to start out right from the get-go to make sure that you're going to make the profit that you want on your bottom line. So how do you do that? I like to make the distinction here before I go into setting that goal. Let's just talk about what it is for a minute. Gross profit is the difference between your bid price and your cost. The difference between those two numbers is your gross profit dollars. Your gross profit margin takes that gross profit dollars and divides it by your bid price. That's your rate of return or your gross profit margin. So that's a percentage. So when I talk about margin, margin is synonymous with percentage. They both mean the same thing. So whenever you hear margin, it just means that it's a percentage. Secondly, percentages are what I call the great equalizer. So they're the great equalizer because it gives you an opportunity to have a benchmark of what do I want to be making on every job, regardless of how much my revenue is going up. So in your business might be growing. Hopefully that's the goal, right? Your business is growing and your costs are going up. you want to make sure that that gross profit margin, your rate of return, stays steady. So your gross profit dollars will go up, but as your rate of return staying steady and consistent. Because in this industry, in construction and interior design, you live and die by gross profit margin. And you got to make sure that you're staying consistent with it. Because if you do, I promise you that your bottom line is going to be rewarded. I've seen often that somebody will grow rapidly and then their margin does not grow rapidly, it does not stay consistent. And in fact, their margin goes down. And while it looked like they were making more money, in fact, when that margin started to decline, their business actually ended up losing money, which is a horrible, scenario, right? You're working as hard as ever and you're just not making the return. So the best way to change all that is to manage gross profit margin. So how do you do that, and how do you set goals for gross profit margin? Well, here's one way that I often do this with clients is I will look at 5 years worth of a profit and loss statements and look at where have they made, what's been the margin overall? What is is there a pattern for a particular gross profit margin? So that's one way, because a lot of times what I notice is I'll look back at previous years and I'll notice previous years were higher and then there's been a decline. And so when you can see it, that you've made a higher margin, it will give you more confidence to raise your prices. It's a very interesting thing that in all the years that I've been in business, and that's like 28 years now, that I've been helping contractors and interior designers, I have never told somebody that they should lower their prices. And invariably, you're just not charging enough. And I appreciate that there's pushback on prices. And in future videos, I'm going to be talking about sales and about how to position yourself in a way that as you be more successful in being able to close more deals, because price is an easy thing to talk to people about, but how do you position it? But that's another topic. But let me just say that it could be that you need to raise your prices. So when you're considering your gross profit margin, if it's not sufficient, if you've been losing money every year, I guarantee you need to increase your prices. And so you want to look at, do I have a historical history of being able to make more and I just need to raise my prices again? Or if you're not really sure, go ask an associate. Go ask another contractor in your trades. Go ask another interior designer in your trades. Now, your first inclination might be, why would they tell me that? Well, successful people generally want to help other people. And you want to choose somebody who has built a successful, profitable business. Don't choose the person to go ask who's also complaining about that they're not making enough money, because you don't want to model them. You want to model somebody who has been successful. And what I've found is that sometimes like trade associations, that are related to your industry, or professional groups that might be related to your industry that have other people, are a really great way to begin that dialogue and ask those questions. So one of those ways, or, just set a goal. Set a goal for how much you want to make in gross profit margin. And then you want to start to manage your bids against that goal. So let me just talk a little bit about how do you do that. So once you've gotten your bid finished and you've got your bid price, you've subtracted your cost, you got your cost, your gross profit dollars, you calculate that margin, take those gross profit dollars, divide it by revenue, then look to see every bid, does that gross profit margin on that job match up with my goal? And if not, go back to the drawing board. The most successful contractors and interior designers I know always manage to have a goal and then manage to it. And the first place to manage to it is when you're bidding projects. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I have provided another resource down below. You can go click on one of the links down below that may also help you with this whole idea of margin and markup. It is called the Margin and Markup Defined and Explained. And there's a resource that I have included within there also of this table that is a markup margin table that will let you easily be able to see how much do I have to mark up to make that desired margin. So just go check this out, set up some goals for yourself on gross profit margin for all your projects, and start growing a more profitable and successful contracting and interior design business. I hope you found today's video helpful. If you're ready to take your next step in your leadership journey and to build a great contracting business, I encourage you to check out my book, The Profit Bleed. It's full of great tools and resources that will help you implement the processes and the systems and the structure that will allow you to build a more profitable business, allow you to work less hours, and help you reclaim the joy and fun in your business and in your life again. And for a limited time, you can get my book for free. All you have to do is pay $7.95 shipping and handling. And you simply need to go to theprofitbleed.com/free. Thanks again for joining me for today, and I look forward to seeing you next time on The Profit Builder.